Hey y'all, welcome to Marcy in the Middle, a podcast about transitions and the middle of life. Here we talk about everything from relationships to finding your place in the world and lots more. We'll talk with friends from all walks of life and find out what they've learned along the way. So whether you feel young or old or somewhere in between, this is the place for you. Welcome to the middle. Hi, and welcome to Marcy in the Middle. Today's guest is Shani Wilson.
Hello.
Yes, the young and lovely and talented girl who I have watched from a distance and just really and truly admire her. When I think of kind of why I wanted to have her on the podcast was because you see people kind of evolving, and the word that comes to mind is becoming. Mm-hmm. And I have just watched Shani really lean into kind of wherever the Lord directs her, mm-hmm. and has taken on different kinds of challenges and just taken some risks, and also is very kind and a good human. So I wanted to have her on just to talk about that. So welcome to the podcast, Shani.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Thank you for saying yes. You are, I think we said 36.
Yes.
So you're just a couple of years younger than me.
Barely.
But I have had a lot of fun watching you on social media. Just the things that you post are very encouraging, and I just admire a lot of the things that you've tackled and accomplished. You haven't just tried. You've succeeded in everything I've seen. But why don't you give us just a little bit of background on kind of growing up and maybe meeting Wade and get us to that point.
Oh gosh, Biscuit.
That's
what
right.
I call him, Biscuit. Everyone
love
thinks
you,
that's
Biscuit.
so funny. I grew up in Stringtown, graduated from Stringtown. I met Wade. It's funny because we've been married for 15 years now, but I met Wade 2007, and we ran around the same crowds but never met each other. Had never met each other until then. And so one drunken night, he said, "I can't live without you. Will you marry me?" And I said, "Yeah." And ever since then, we've been together.
Had you dated before the proposal much?
We had been officially together for, I think, 3 months.
Okay.
Whenever he asked me to marry him.
Well, listen, it all worked out very well.
When you know, you know, I guess.
When you know, you know.
He's
That's
kind.
right.
He's very kind.
He's a good man.
He is.
He is a good man. He's one of our favorites.
Yes.
Okay, so you get together. How old were you when you got married?
21.
Okay.
21.
Yes, good deal. And then how many kids do you guys have now?
We have 3. We have
Okay.
his, hers, and ours.
Okay.
I had Jake.
Okay.
He had Colton. And then we had Eden. So we
Okay.
have 2 boys that are both 17 now, and
Okay.
Eden is almost 13.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay. Ding ding. The first thing I didn't know.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, you have a beautiful family,
Thank you.
and they're all amazing
Thank you.
kids. So
Yes,
that's fun.
I
Keep
love
you
them.
keep you busy and on the road.
they do. They do.
What, like when you were growing up? We'll get into some of your careers or
Mm-hmm.
your career that's had many different aspects of it, or you've built on.
Yep.
But like, what did you want to do when you were growing up? Did you think past high school?
Honestly, I didn't a whole lot. I feel like I wasn't very aspirational.
Yeah.
And then I met Wade, and I feel like he helped me evolve into that, wanting more, wanting to leave something for our children, wanting to grow our lives together. So he played a really big part in
That's
who
awesome.
I am today.
Okay.
I tried college a few times. It never worked out.
Yeah.
So,
It is literally not for everybody.
Yeah.
And if you know that, you're saving thousands of dollars. And you can invest that money
Yeah.
in some other things. Also, college is great.
yes. It's not downing it at
like
all.
you're
Yeah.
I just think sometimes people feel pressed, sometimes one way or the other. Like no one in our family goes to college, or everyone in our family goes to
Right.
college. And
it's just not for
and
everyone.
it's hard when you're
Yeah.
18 to know.
I had no idea what I wanted to do when I was
Yeah.
18. I will say this. I did want to go to cosmetology when I was a junior, and my
Okay.
dad said, "You won't need that." Joke's on you, Dad.
That's right, Dad. She needed it.
Oh, that's so funny.
Well, that is funny. But yeah, and then you had to pay for it probably after the fact. But timing's everything.
Right,
So
yes.
maybe it worked out.
Yes.
Okay, so when did you go? Did you go to cosmetology school?
So I didn't work until Eden was 4 or 5.
Okay, great.
Which was like 2015, I believe.
Yeah.
I worked at a juvenile detention center when she
Wow.
started the pre-K3. That was wild.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got another job with the Choctaw Nation after that.
Okay.
And so I worked for them for 5 years. And it was a great job to work for the Choctaw Nation. It's
Yeah.
great, but it was a lot of social work-ish, and it was really draining. I don't know how to say that without it sounding bad, because I loved it. I loved doing that for people, but I can remember crying in my car one day just asking God to give me something else. And so the census came about, and I took that job, and they pay really well, and I was like, I'm going to school. And so I went to aesthetics school while I was working that job, and God just really opened those doors.
Wow.
And I was with a network marketing company called Pharmacy.
Yes.
And that just kind of blew up.
Yeah.
So I never went without income while I went to school, and I really believe that God did that for me.
Yeah. It's
I truly
awesome when the
believe that.
doors open like that. Okay, well, this is more recent than even maybe what I had known. So where did you go to school?
So I got my aesthetics license at KTC here in Atoka with Shelly Calicote.
Yeah.
And then I did that for, I think, 2 years. I had that license for 2 years, and then I went to cosmetology school in Durant at the Durant Institute of, what is it? Durant Institute of, oh my gosh.
Is it beauty? Might be, because I don't know. Somewhere in Durant.
It's the other one.
That's right.
I'll remember it in a minute. It's
Okay.
just because I'm talking about it. My goodness. And got my cosmetology license. And I've had that for 2 years now.
Okay.
But what's funny about it is I thought I would love hair. I don't love doing hair.
Yeah.
So I only utilize really my aesthetics license.
Okay.
I do waxing. I do lashes, hair and makeup.
Yes.
I guess the hair part, the cosmetology to updos, you have to have that for that. So.
Okay. Yes, I knew you did makeup.
Yeah.
Notice her lovely face.
Thank
It's
you.
lovely without the makeup, but she is a very skilled makeup artist.
I do love to do makeup.
And at the Bond household, we appreciate a good makeup artist.
Yes, your daughter's amazing.
It's fun. We love all the things. Okay, so that got you into that industry. What do you like about that?
I just like, why I love doing lashes over hair is it looks the same every time. I know what I'm
Yes,
getting.
yeah.
I think it was the wondering, am I doing this right
Yes.
on the hair? And I'm sure with more practice, and it may be in the future I'll do it.
Yeah.
But everyone they love how they feel when they have it done.
Yeah.
So I just love doing that. That's how I feel about makeup, any part of the beauty
Yes.
industry. It's just how it makes people feel about themselves, and I like being a part of that.
I love that, and I have told the girls, I'm like, it is very fun to watch
Yeah.
someone sit in your chair or at your table or whatever particular service you're doing and watch them feel
Yes.
like
Yeah.
as beautiful as they are. And
Because they are beautiful without all that. They really are.
100%.
But it just you just see them glow.
Yeah.
And I don't know, that's my favorite part.
Yeah, I love it. I think women empowering women is
So needed.
top on my list and so needed. And you don't really think of that as I think a lot of people might not think what they do is a spiritual gift almost.
A ministry.
A ministry, thank you. And it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Anytime you build someone up and leave them better and stronger, I just think that's good. And I've had a lot of women in my life do that for me, and I hope to do that for others, and I see you doing it. And I think that's great. That's what we need to be about, girls.
Yes.
No matter what your industry is.
Right.
But okay, so when you took on pharmacy, did you have any idea like what you were getting into?
I had no idea. I had no idea it was going to blow up like that. It was truly amazing to watch it grow
Yeah.
the way it did.
Yeah.
Every month it was just more and more and more, and I was like,
What's up?
yeah, blown away.
Yeah,
So,
it's good. Well, you were really good at leading a team,
Thank
and I've had a couple of people on because I've done some network marketing as well. I like it. Please don't call me to be on your team. I think I'm done with it.
she's mine, y'all.
That's
No, I'm kidding.
That's right. There you go. But I do feel like that was kind of the first time I saw so much leadership training and personal development, like by really good people.
Yeah.
And of course, Tabby, who was on a few weeks ago, and Christy Usher and Jennifer have all, I don't think Christy and I talked about it, but it really does set you up, and I think it gives you confidence.
Yeah,
Did you think that too?
Yeah, it teaches you how to lead too, and I do really feel like I'm called to lead some sort of women's ministry. I don't know how that's going to work out, but I know in time it will.
Yeah.
So I really feel like I learned a lot in that way. You learn how to deal with people's emotions positively and negatively.
Yep.
There's a lot of good that comes from that, from that industry.
I think it helps you put yourself out there more than more than I would have, for sure.
Absolutely.
And I think maybe people in our area or maybe even in the South.
Yeah, well, I'm sure a lot of people around here, for even all the other women around, they're probably like, people are like, oh gosh, it's them.
That's right. You can run, but you can't. No. We're not coming after you. No. I just think I'm very thankful for what I learned in that, because it's helped me personally, and I think it's helped me in any capacity of leadership. It just teaches you some things.
Yeah.
So what, tell me a little bit about your salvation experience. I know we don't always just come right out and say that on the podcast, but when you talk about ministry and we talk about, empowering people, what is your own story of how did you come to that?
I feel we were 22 when we started going to the Gospel Lighthouse. It was on a Wednesday. It was the day after my birthday. It was July 8th of 2009. It was the year we got married.
Okay.
Just up until that point, I just felt like there was a big hole.
Okay.
Like I needed more, and I didn't really know what it was. We weren't really raised in a religious household, so I just didn't really know what it was until I went there that night, and I, felt the Holy Spirit, and I seen things, and I'm like, oh my goodness, what is all this? And since then, I have known that God has my life, even whenever I wasn't completely in, even when I made the bad choices, He still has seen me through all of it, the good, the bad, the ugly. He's just always there. And so, yeah.
That's good. That's awesome. I love hearing people's stories, because everybody everyone grows up differently, and you only know what you know.
Right.
Like, you only know how you were raised, and then what you kind of take in from watching other people. And unfortunately, there's a lot of craziness that happens in churches. I'm just talking about any church, not any church specifically, just in real life.
I think people put these people on a pedestal, and so when they mess up, they're like, oh, God's not good, but they're human and they're going to mess up.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean God isn't good. That means we're human and we make mistakes.
Yeah.
So.
Extremely well said.
Yeah.
What she said. Yeah, I think so too. You're like, humans will try really hard. And then sometimes they mess up. And I am one of them who has multiple times, and you just try to get back up and
That's all
do
you
better
can
the
do.
next time and learn. And the Lord is so good and kind to us to let us participate with Him, because I feel like we give Him a lot of bad press.
Yes,
we're sorry, but I love that you just knew, and that
it was just a different. I mean, it was just a feeling. I can't even explain it like that.
Yeah.
Until you experience it.
Yeah. No, I think so too. I'm like, I think everybody's experience is different, and He's very good to meet you where you are.
Yes.
And me where I was, and other people where they are, and He is.
And that's what we have to do too. We have to meet people where they are.
Yep.
We can't hold them to this higher standard that we're not even living up to.
No. No. And honestly, who has the energy?
Right.
I'm like,
love them where they are.
Yes.
Love me where I'm at. Let's grow through
it.
Yeah,
let's grow together, and we're going to finish strong.
Yes.
So you got married, had a family. went to school, had great success with pharmacy and makeup, and you're still having great success in your in a new company, I think, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So pharmacy, I can't remember when exactly. 2 years ago, I think. I just didn't feel it no more.
Yeah.
It kind of, I don't know. Anyway, this last year I joined Celeste.
Okay.
It's very similar. 50. I'm not going to go into all that, but it's very similar, and I really like the makeup.
Okay.
So I'm not as gung ho as I used to be, but I do enjoy the makeup.
Yeah, that's good.
Enjoy the company.
Yeah.
I got to go to Miami last summer and meet the owners and do all the fun stuff with them. And
I saw the pictures.
yeah, it was fun.
I was only mildly jealous. No, I was happy for you because it is fun to get to travel. You guys like to travel, I think, don't you?
Yes.
Okay.
We're going to Pensacola in June for our family
Literally
vacation.
just came back.
Let me tell you
Friday.
what. Both of oh, you did?
Yes.
Yes, I
Both
remember.
of your what? It's good. What were you going to say?
Oh, I was saying both of my boys, I think, are taking girlfriends, and I'm like, oh my goodness, where are
First
we at
grown-up
in
trip.
life? Yes,
That's right.
Ah.
You've crossed over a line. Vacations will get very expensive.
I know.
No, it's fun. And yeah, it's like you want them to have a girlfriend. You're just like, how did we get here?
Yes.
Why aren't you 12?
You still see these little people, and then they grow up, and you're supposed to just let them go. And I'm like, how do you do that?
Yeah.
How do you do
Yeah.
that? Mom,
It
tell
is-
me.
Yeah.
Please tell me.
Very carefully. A little tiny bit at a time.
Yes.
And then you hope that you still get to see them. But I think you guys are doing a great job.
Thank you.
And parenting is no joke.
No, not easy.
So, yeah, it's the best thing you can do and the hardest thing you can do, probably.
Yes.
Okay, so spiritually, you're on the right track and living out your purpose, and your business is going. A couple of years ago, you talked about weight loss surgery.
Yes.
And I have not had anyone on. I've wanted to, just because I feel like as women, I don't know that there's another subject that we devote that much headspace to, and
as losing weight. Yeah.
yes, like just body image in general. I'm sure there are people who want to gain weight. God bless you.
Yeah.
I feel for you. I feel like if you live with me for 10 minutes, I can get you to your goal. But most of us are always, you just 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 20, whatever.
Yes.
Everybody's got a number that we're
Right.
achieving. And I feel like you were very honest about just your decision and the changes you've made and implemented to be healthy. And so talk a little bit about that. What made you decide you wanted to do that?
I guess I just woke up one day and I was like, how did I get like this? You know, like this isn't me and I need help. And I've tried it all. I've tried all the shakes, all the pills, everything. Anything you can think of, I tried it. And so I made an appointment. I went down there. And he was like, because I had to do private pay because I don't have insurance.
Okay.
And he was like, we can do you next week. And I said, hold up. I was like, I can't do it that fast. There's no way. So we booked 6 weeks out.
Okay.
And went back 6 weeks later. This was November of 2020. And I had vertical sleeve gastrectomy, which is VSG.
Okay.
They go in and they cut out about 75% of your stomach, 75%, and it's about the shape of a banana is what's left.
Okay.
And so really it restricts your eating. It cuts out the part of your stomach that produces the hormone that makes you hungry.
Okay.
So that didn't come back till about a year and a half later.
Wow.
I do get hungry now.
Yeah.
I can get ravenous.
That's right.
But I lost, in the span of a year, about 90-something pounds, and just past a year, 103 pounds is where I about topped at. 108 pounds or so is where I have gained now about 10 pounds back.
Yeah.
But I think that's my winter body.
Well, you look great. Like,
thank you.
Yeah, you look great.
It's almost been 4 years, and I've maintained pretty well.
Yeah.
I don't eat and drink at the same time. That's one thing they tell you not to do.
Yeah.
I just went blank in my mind. Don't eat and drink at the same time. I don't drink pop.
Yeah.
I do have a Red Bull addiction. I need help with that. That's the only thing, the bad thing I drink. And then I just stop eating when I'm full. I can eat a little more. When I first got it done for the first year and a half, I could barely eat at all. I can eat quite a bit more now, but I stop when I'm full. That's the biggest thing. It's such a mental game. You have to stop when you're full because you can go crazy with it.
I mean, you can, and it's just
I know people.
Hard.
There are people that have never publicly spoken about it, but they wrote me and they were like, hey, I went ahead and did it because you did. And I was like, oh gosh, you go, girl.
Well, it's a big it's a big decision.
It is a really and now everyone's doing like Ozempic and all that, and I'm like, if I had been around, I would have done that over that, but I wouldn't take for it. Like, I feel like it really changed my life.
Yes.
That I see myself in the way that I was with, like, stuck in there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is literally so much in your head. I mean, there are physical things obviously involved, but
Right.
I do think sometimes it takes drastic measures to just sometimes everyone has to decide something. Yeah. And if it helps you get there. I am not a doctor. Shani is not a doctor. We are not giving medical advice.
No, we're not.
If you want to lose weight, we can probably send you some information, but also you have Google. So so there you go.
And your doctor.
See your doctor. Yeah. See your doctor. See your doctor. But I felt like just watching you were pretty honest with people about the good and the bad. And if somebody came to you and was asking what you would recommend, what would you
Would I do
say
it again?
yes or no?
Yeah, I would tell them I would do it again. I'm honest with them. I tell them kind of how I felt right after. The worst pain about it for me was like the gas pains, and it got stuck in my shoulder for like a week, like a few days, not a week, but a few days, and I was like, eh. That was the worst part. And then lack of energy. But I just tell them all that, the good, the bad, the ugly, and tell them to really think about it, pray about it, and
Well, that's a good thing. I misspoke earlier. I did have Christy Copeland on, Christy Eastwood on, and she had a terrible experience with it. Just got really sick. There was an issue with the surgery. It didn't go well. So she did come on and share her story, which I appreciate. But I just feel like I love that about you, that you'll take on new challenges and push through when you think, okay, I'm gonna make a change, whether it be going back to school or opening a business or just doing all the things. And I want people to know, like, you're just always like, you can do it.
Yes.
You can do it. And again, you have to make your own choices, and everybody's kind of skill sets and giftings and all of that is so individual. But I love watching people, I would say, go for it, live kind of all in, not kind of.
A lot of people are scared because they get social media has really made a comparing game, and so I think a lot of people get scared to do things because they're scared of what other people are going to think if they don't succeed.
Right.
But even when you don't succeed, you're learning, and even the people who have success have failed. They failed and they learned and they started again, and it's just a repetitive process until they get to where you're seeing them. You're seeing them on the hill, but you didn't see them climbing it.
That's right.
So I just want people to know they can do it.
Yes.
Job, weight loss, being a mom, ministry, whatever they have, or that they dream of, they can do it. Because God didn't give them that dream for no reason.
Right. Again, what she just said. Amen. Wave the white hanky, whatever. Like you not looking at other people. And I'm 52, so quite a bit ahead of you. And it's still a battle at this age. And I try to run hard in my own lane also. So it's not like I'm just sitting there on the phone, but literally everything we put into our heads and minds and what we look at, literally whatever you put in, it does have a big impact on you, and you can literally waste so much time looking at what other people are doing and not living your life. And that, my personality, that's like a fear. Not even a fear. It's just I am determined that I do not want to be 99 and wishing I had done something else.
Lived your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And whatever that looks like, that does not have to be crazy
right.
business success, or you don't have to be TikTok famous. You don't have to
Right.
be any kind of, you can be totally hiding out, doing your thing, raising kids, cooking, doing whatever it is your passion is, and living out what your call is. So I love that. I was going to ask you a question, and my 52-year-old brain has forgotten. I think I've said that statement on the last 5 podcasts, but it's true.
It happens.
It does happen. Well, I can't think of what I was going to ask
Well,
you.
you may tell you a funny
I'll come back to
story.
it. Yes, tell me a funny story.
Okay.
That'll get us back on.
My mother-in-law told me that my husband thought you were so pretty when he was young.
Oh,
I can't remember how old he was.
That's good.
I'd have to ask her.
thank you, Wade.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you,
Biscuit.
Biscuit. That's right. I do love biscuits, so there you go.
Yes.
That's funny. If you were going to speak to somebody, I would say teenagers, but I'm not sure there's any teens listening to this. There
gosh.
probably are a few. But if you were just going to talk to some other young woman, maybe in her 20s, what advice would you give? Like, what have you learned that you wish you had known then?
Put God first and trust him. No is a full sentence. It's okay to say no to going out, to not even just that, but anything. No is a full sentence.
Yeah.
You don't have to explain yourself. Just, I don't want to. And that's okay. Really, that's it. I am not great with stuff like this. I'm gonna be honest.
You are great. You've already given so many good things. But no, those
Don't
are.
be afraid of failure. Don't be afraid of failure, for sure.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were talking about success earlier, and that reminded me. Just so many people, when you look at a finished product or as somebody that's accomplished something they were trying hard for, anybody in business, especially if you have an entrepreneurial spirit, which you do, and I am married to someone that does, you're going to try so many things that may not end up being the thing.
Right.
Which is also good because you learn so much about maybe the particular thing, but also about yourself and how resilient you are, and maybe what not to do the next time. We always learn more from the failures than we do the successes, but I love that you said don't quit trying and persevere. Also, I think sometimes we don't always know what a person has sacrificed and like some of the things they've given up to get where they are. Did you speak a little bit to that? What sacrifices have you had to make, and things have you given up to get you where you want to be?
Like when I was in school, I would have to miss games and stuff like that in order to get my license. When we started Wilson Plumbing, Wade would sometimes work 14, 15, 16 days in a row building this business and building, clientele and helping people. And so he sacrificed time at home. And I think a lot of people think that, like you said, they just see the end result and they don't see what you sacrificed to get there. And sometimes it's really hard. It's really hard to not have him home or to miss something. And so that's the main thing that I think people don't see.
I think that's very true. And I think things you can get in maybe a couple of ditches in one extreme or the other, and it seems like we go from you have to hustle and grind 24 hours a day for 50 years and never take a break. And then the other ditch is just kind of hang out and hope for the best and maybe it'll happen. And neither one of those things are healthy, and one of those things is definitely not true. You have to expend some energy.
Right, some effort.
And I mean, because I do think sometimes you used to hear, probably not now as much as you did, you'd there was a big doctrine in the church, prosperity gospel, where, okay, well, I'm following Jesus, so money is going to fall from heaven in my lap, and I'm not going to have to do anything to get it. And I'm like, no, that's not true. And that's not true.
Yeah. No.
So you must put in some energy and just having a healthy balance of, there will be a while where you go hard and you're tired every night and you're running on not as much sleep as you need probably, and you're missing some things that you don't want to have to miss. And that's kind of what it takes to get going. Yeah. It's especially in business. And so many people dream of having their own business, and which I think is great.
Right.
I just think we need to be honest with people about how hard that is, and that when you have your own business, you're where the buck stops, and there's no paycheck.
Yeah.
If you don't work.
Right.
But also, once you get going, you guys have made a lot of good choices to put your family first. Now you're at, I'm going to say, every ball game because I see it.
Yes. Yes. That was another reason I chose aesthetics and cosmetology, because I didn't want to have to ask someone to be off work.
I know.
So I didn't want to miss it.
Yeah.
I have 1 year left with Jake, and so he's my sports
Isn't that
player.
crazy?
The rest of
Yes.
them don't, and so I don't want to miss anything.
No, you don't.
I don't want to miss a thing.
You don't. And I think that's good, because along with working hard, you have to prioritize your family time and being with your kids, because you do not get a do-over for that.
Right.
And I know you always hear people talk about the balanced life, and I'm like, I don't know anyone who has a balanced life.
Yeah.
Because there are some times when it's crazy and sometimes when it's not. And you try to make the most and live well in all the situations, but it's hard. I mean, like, it's real life, so it's still tricky.
It's not always a straight line.
Yeah. No, it's not. What do you referenced earlier, you kind of have a dream of women's ministry. What do you think, what gives you that passion, and give us a hint of what you're speaking of?
So I just, like women to feel and know their worth, which is found in Christ.
Yep.
And I think I struggled so much with that, really not knowing Christ as a young girl, and wanting, and now I can look at women now, and you can just see they're drained, and there's no hope, and there's no joy.
Yeah.
And I just want to show them that. And like I said, I don't really know exactly what that looks like. We did have a women's conference last year at our church.
Yes, I went.
And
it was very good.
I do plan on, and my sister plan on doing another one. And like I said, I'm not exactly sure what it looks like. I just want to uplift women.
Yeah.
To know that they are worthy, to know that no matter what they've done in their life, because we've all made mistakes, that they're still worthy of God's love.
Absolutely.
And that nothing they've done is bigger than He is.
Yeah.
And so that's really where I'm at with it. I don't know, like I said, I don't know exactly everything. I just know it's there. I know God gave me that.
Yes.
So I'll roll with it.
Yeah. No, I love it. And it's so needed. And literally, you just want people to know. I mean, we were talking earlier, and I'm sure I have said it a million times on the podcast, but the whole reason for starting it was because women feel, I don't know, I think we feel like when we struggle, we're the only ones.
Right.
And not very many people want to talk about the junk or the hard things in life. And so sometimes you don't feel like you have an avenue to go, or anyone who's going to be honest enough about and be real enough to say, hey, even now, like, you are successful, you're healthy, you're following the Lord, still life is life. Like,
yes, absolutely.
There's struggles that we're going to face. You're just not alone.
Right.
And so
and Facebook is a highlight reel. So
yes.
It doesn't mean we don't go through dark days.
Yeah, I think that's so good. One of the things that we've referenced a couple of times, and we've talked about it before on the podcast, that I think is so important is community and surrounding yourself with like-minded people, but also just people who are living their lives well, like other people who are living all in and who have focus and drive and ambition, and who are looking to make a difference, not just make money.
Right.
And money, I think money's great. Like
well, you have to have it.
You
to
have
live,
to have it, but that's not the end all. And I think, but I will say this as well: it takes money to do good things. So, but when you're talking about community, you want people who kind of have those same values. How does community play a part just in your life in general, kind of?
Community, like my church family.
Yeah, like anything, like any people that you're around that help you.
My sister is a big part of my community. She's my best friend. She loves God with all her heart. She was quick to come at you with some scripture if I need it. Like, I love that. She's love. I love her.
Yeah.
And then the ladies at church, I love every one of them. They're just uplifting. I'm not sure if this is what you meant when you asked. You're sunshine.
Yeah.
Like you're literally a bright light. I love it.
Thank you.
I have really bad lately. I feel like kind of taking myself out of being around a bunch of people, but I feel like God was getting me alone to grow something. And so, again, we'll get there.
Yeah. When you say that, like, what do you mean? I know what you mean, but like, what does that look like when you say he's kind of pulled you back?
Well, my mom passed away 5 months ago. And I did go through some depression with that, and I really stepped back from talking to a lot of people. But I wasn't lonely. And usually I feel like I would be lonely. I feel like God really was just with me in that time. Grief is weird. I'm sorry.
No, it is very weird. And take your time.
Yeah.
Take your time.
So I feel like through that process of me being alone, it's taught me how to be there for other women. And so, like, even this month of April, I shared a post on Facebook. It was a month of reading the Bible. Every day it's just a verse or two, and it's on forgiveness. And I needed that. I needed to forgive my mom. I needed to forgive myself. Not that we can forgive ourselves, but you know what I mean.
We do.
I need, forgive any and everything. And I feel like that has really taught me that this month alone, or that so recently, that's going to help me when I do start leading some kind of women's ministry. When you that's good. And you're a people person, I think, and I am too, and it is so hard for me to make myself sit still and pull myself back. And I know that's so healthy, and I'm literally in this season of my life trying to practice some silence and solitude with the Lord, just sitting there, and me kind of being quiet, not just talking his ear off. And I think he loves for us to talk his ear off. Yes,
but,
he does.
Sometimes just to sit in that, things come up that we need to deal with, and if you're not still, there's almost not a chance, to do it. And when you're going through grief, especially, you're just like, it's a lot. And like you said, it's crazy. There's waves and moments of when it hits it out of the blue, and I feel like letting yourself grieve is so healthy. And again, that goes against my personality. My nature wants to just, everything's fine, I'm fine, it's good.
Yeah, and go hide alone and cry. I'm bad about that.
Yeah, and that it's terrible to stuff it.
Yes.
Like it has to come out. It's healthy and normal, and God made us that way to help us.
I have like, finally I just call my sister and be like, and she's like, let it out.
Yes.
So she's been so good through it, bless her.
It's great to have a sister.
Yeah.
But because it's literally your built-in best friend. I love mine too. I never get to see her, but or not as often as we would like.
Yeah.
But that's one person. It's kind of like your mom.
Yeah.
She's got your back, and woe to the people who mess with you in front of your sister.
For sure.
And my sister-in-law. I don't know if you have any in-laws, but I'm like, we consider Amy a sister, and she is loyal to the death. And so I'm just like, well, she's good for the so you talked about losing your mom, and that's one thing. And I'm older than you. Your mom died young.
Yeah.
And a little bit unexpected.
Yes. Without going into a whole long history, she had bipolar disorder.
Yeah.
She struggled with drug use here and there.
Yeah.
She, I didn't see her a whole lot in my life, but she was still my mom. However, I made choices where I couldn't have her around my children.
Yeah, you had good boundaries.
And so we didn't see each other for a few years until July of last year. And then she had a heart attack. So we went to the hospital, and that's the first time we'd saw her in a few years. And so she told us then that the doctor said that her heart would only last a year. And it never resonated in our heads that this is bad. And so we did start seeing her again, letting her in a little.
Yeah.
And over the next however many months, August, September, October, November, 4 months.
Okay.
And then she passed away. Yes, unexpectedly, and no at the same time.
Right, like you had a heads up. It's just hard to wrap your mind around the loss of your mom. Several of my really good friends have lost their moms just in the last 5 years, and it's just one of those things that's on my mind. And I'm trying to remember that, because we don't know whether it's your mom or anyone. Unfortunately, we don't have a timetable, and we don't know when our last day is. But just to make the most of that, and I know you guys did, like in a difficult situation. Like sometimes it's not as easy as we would like it to be, and it's complicated. But I do think that you honored her well, and you honored the Lord in how you treated her and ministered to her in her end. Was it you or Stacy that posted something you found that she wrote about you?
We both have. We've both found stuff,
and
that
it was
she's
incredible,
wrote.
Shani.
Yeah,
I should have asked you to bring
journals, where she wrote in there about us, about other family members. It's like she knew. It's almost like she knew that her time was ending.
Yes.
So those are a treasure. That
well, I cannot remember what she said, but it was like she was so proud of you, and just I know she mentioned the Lord, didn't she?
Yeah.
Talk about that, and I'm like, sometimes we don't think people who are struggling with those kind of issues
could know the Lord, but they do,
and they do. Yeah.
And we're nobody's judge.
We are not anybody's judge.
I truly believe she went to heaven.
Oh, yeah, me too. And the Lord is so merciful
to
all of us.
His mercy is big.
Yes. And you're just like...
And unfathomable.
Yeah. But I thought that was a really beautiful gift from Him.
Yes.
To find not only that you would see the words, but that you would know she knew Him.
Yeah, I believe you're talking about the post my sister made.
Okay.
Yeah.
It might have been. But yeah, just living each day on purpose is so important.
Yes.
And I mean, just literally putting your phone down to actually engage it's a struggle. I'm not going to lie. I have a love-hate relationship with the phone.
Yes.
We have to have it.
Right. For business,
for
work. And many times I'm like, if I didn't have a business, I would get off social media.
Exactly.
But
we probably wouldn't. We like people.
We like to say it. It sounds good.
That's right. Exactly. But yeah, you just want people to know. What do you, what would you say, what do you think you know now that you didn't know before the grief process and losing someone like that?
I didn't know. I lost my Nana a few years ago, 10 years ago, I think, but I've never lost an immediate, and I didn't, I guess, realize how bad it really would hurt. because we weren't close.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I never really thought about it in
Yeah.
that way, but you don't think it's going to hurt as bad
Yeah.
as it does, or the smallest things are going to make you start crying, or, you know, so
Yeah.
that really is the hardest part. I still, well, I cried this morning. So, yeah.
Well, and you will for probably forever, depending on, not all the time, but when things are brought to your mind. And
The silliest things.
I know.
Sometimes it's the silliest
Yeah.
things.
But you're just like, okay, the human body and mind and soul is very amazing in many ways, because in the grief you still have, life goes on.
It does. It almost, you got to be careful too, because it can make you mad at other people because they don't feel that, and so you feel stuck, like you're standing still and they're all just rolling past you.
Yeah.
And so I didn't want to get stuck in that, and I really talked to God about that.
Yeah.
After she passed.
Yeah. It's just a process, and it's not, there's no one way through it.
Right.
And I think I was listening to another podcast, and they were talking about grief, and it's not a linear path, like steps 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then you'll be done.
Right.
And it would be great if that's how it was,
Yes.
but that's not how it is. And to be kind to yourself. And it also makes you very compassionate for other people, I think.
It does. Honestly, my good friends lost their mom a couple months ago, right after my mom, a couple months. And so, yeah, I'm like, get over here, let's cry.
I know. This is what's coming, and you're going to make it, but you can say and do whatever you want to do right now, whatever gets you through.
Yes.
That's good. You talked just a minute ago. It's coming back to me, see? When you were talking about forgiveness and kind of out of this same situation, there were things that you had to forgive. Our pastor just preached yesterday on baggage and offense and taking offense at every little thing and trying to let things go. What is your take on that? Like, why do you think it is so important to let go and forgive?
Well, the Bible says he forgives how we forgive.
That's right.
I forgive you and you and you. I'm good to go. No, I'm kidding.
Exactly.
Forgiveness is not easy, especially, I mean, I'm sure for anybody, but I'm bad about, if you offend me, I just never talk to you again. And I won't bat an eye. And that's not Christ-like. That's not how he intended us to be.
Yeah.
And so really in this month of April that we've been doing this, it's really opened my eyes to that, to be forgiving, not just to be forgiven but because that's what he wants us to do. And so.
And it's hard.
It is.
Like, that's probably one of the harder things, I think, the principles that Jesus taught was to forgive. And my personality that's not hard for me. But I'm not saying that as I'm a good person. My nature is to kind of pretend maybe that I don't have anything, like, to play it down, which is also equally not good for your insides or your brain. Like, to acknowledge a hurt and then to ask, honestly, the Lord to help you do it.
Right.
Because sometimes there are things, and there's a difference. If you cut me off in traffic, it's not really a major offense. If you do harm, or especially now that you've got kids, I've got a grandkid, I'm like, if you harm B,
yes,
I will be coming after you.
Right.
And I will ask for forgiveness after the fact. I'm just kidding. Well, I'm probably not kidding, but it's just, it kind of takes on, it's hard to do. And I just think
our first instinct is revenge. Our first instinct is we got to get them because they got us. But honestly, there's so many things that I've watched. Not that I prayed for any of it to happen, but I have watched God take care of stuff. So
yeah, well, we do.
He's a gangsta.
He is a gangsta, and he will handle it. And it also says that he will have the final word.
Yes,
and he does care about his children and how we treat each other, and the things that happen to us. I mean, he does not take lightly the same things that we don't take lightly.
Right.
A lot of the harm in the world and damage done to people are what he died to abolish and get away from. So that's good. That's a healthy principle. What else would you say are some of the things you try to live by? Anything?
When someone's speaking to you, don't listen to reply, but actually hear them, because a lot of times, and you can kind of tell when people are doing it, but they're just waiting for you to quit talking so they can talk.
Yes.
And that's hard. I've done that before. I've done that many times, and I don't want to be like that. I want to hear them. I want to hear them.
Yeah, that's good. So many people, I feel like, don't have a community where they feel heard. And again, I'm a woman, so that's the perspective I have. I feel like a lot of women, particularly in middle age, which could be, maybe forever. A lot of times, if you didn't grow up in a house where you felt heard, then it could start when you're a child. But for sure, in middle age, I feel like a lot of women feel unheard and unseen, and thus not really known or valued. And it's just so incredibly important that we do that for each other and for people. And I do think you do that well, like just paying attention to what's kind of reading the room, the bigger room at play, and making sure people do feel seen. And I really honestly think of all the things that we think we'll get credit for in heaven, treating each other like a worthy and loved person might be the best thing that we can do.
Right.
And you're probably not going to win a Grammy or a great prize or get rich because of that, but it will be rewarded.
You get jewels in your crown, baby.
There you go, jewels. We're going for the big crowns. That's right. They'll all end up at his feet, but we still will take a big crown. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we haven't talked about that I want to ask you, or I should just ask you. Is there anything else on your mind or heart that you would like to talk about or say?
Not off the top of my head.
I'm trying to think. I was like, did we cover all the main things? So just as we leave, and as we just kind of look back on everything you've said so many really good things. What would you, and I may have kind of already asked you this, I'm just like, is there anything you want women to hear, or younger or older than you, that would just be an encouragement?
That you are worthy, you're worthy of love, that God loves you, you're never too far from Him. No is a full sentence.
That's good.
Yeah, and I guess reach out to me if you ever need to talk.
Yeah,
I won't judge you.
That's good. She will not. She's not lying. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story. It's beautiful, and you're young. It's just you're just in the beginning, so it's going to be fun to see where all the Lord takes you on your journey. And I'm excited just to see all the things that will come to be because of your obedience to Him and your faithfulness and tenacity. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Sharing.
I had fun. That was fun.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Now we need coffee.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I know that you probably did. Shani is a beauty queen inside and out. And if you want to follow her on social media, I think, are your accounts
They're all
public?
Yeah.
So you can follow her. She has good content. I don't think we talked about her singing, but you need to log on to that, because she has a beautiful voice, and that's just yet one more thing you've decided to tackle. I love it. You never know. She might be on American Idol, folks, or The Voice. You never know. But thanks for watching. We hope you have a good week, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. If you like what you heard, please like, follow, and hit subscribe to keep up with all future episodes. We'd also love for you to leave us a 5-star review. That wraps it up for today's Marcy in the Middle. And remember, whatever you're in the middle of, you're not alone. We'll see you next time.